Alright guys, so today we finally get to talk about the brand new One More ANC True Wireless Earbuds. They are officially out today. They come out retailing at $200, but a huge plus here is One More has reached out where you guys can use the code Gamesky and save 20%. So today you can pick these up for $160 just by using the code Gamesky on their site. So if you're going to compare this with some of the other ANC earbuds that are out in the market right now, you have the AirPods Pro that are $250. You have the Sony 1000X M3s that come in retailing at $230. Being able to pick up a pair that are now $160 makes this really competitive. But are they any good, and is it worth it? We're going to check that out along with some of the features and what it is you get inside the box. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is what makes these special, on top of already having the noise canceling, is they are using a hybrid dual driver system. So it has a dynamic driver mixed with balanced armature drivers, which is doing a lot to the sound. But we'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about the sound. On top of that, these also have a transparency mode, so if you're out and about and somebody wants to talk to you, you don't have to take the earbuds out. You can simply put them into transparency mode and hear your surroundings. Now, as far as the technology that are in here, these are using Bluetooth 5.0 and they're using a Qualcomm 3034 chip. So you have aptX and AAC playback, which is some of the best Bluetooth codecs that you can possibly get. Now, another huge thing about these is, as far as the connection goes, these use the Stereo Plus connection. And what that means is your device is connecting to each earbud individually, which is allowing for a much more stable connection, and one earbud is not relying on the connection of another. And that cuts down on lag with watching videos and watching movies, and I didn't have any issues with that at all. Now, one thing I do have a problem with, but I also kind of see the pattern of this, is these don't have an IP rating at all. Now, when I did my first look video, I said that they had IPX5 because it was on several different sites, and so I kind of went with that. But One More reached out to say that these don't have an IP rating, and I'm kind of thinking it's just like the Sonys that also don't have an IP rating. I think that having that would affect the microphones, which would then affect the noise canceling. But I'm not an expert on that, I'm not sure, but I personally know that I would have liked to have seen at least an IPX4 rating on these. It's just kind of peace of mind if you're somebody that likes to use your earbuds in different kind of conditions. Now, as far as what you're getting inside the box, you're getting many different sizes of ear tips, but you're also getting many different sizes of wing tips. So if you are somebody that likes to exercise and work out and do things like that, having those wing tips allow these to have a much better fit in your ear, and then you don't have to worry about them falling out. Now, as far as the charging cable, I am happy to say that these include a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life on these, you can get around 6 hours if you use these with the noise canceling turned off, where you can get around 5 hours with leaving the noise canceling turned on. And as far as the battery life with the case, you're going to get around 22 hours. And if you happen to pick the earbuds up and they are dead, a quick 15-minute charge will give you 2 hours of use. And that comes in handy because there's a lot of times that I pick my earbuds up and they're dead because I forget to charge them. So that quick charge feature is really nice. And also on top of that, the charging case is also a Qi wireless charging case. So you can come in and just drop it on any wireless charger and it will start charging. Now, speaking of the charging case, it is a little bit larger. That also can kind of lean towards the fact that the earbuds are a little bit larger than normal, but it is a very nice case. It feels extremely solid. You have the USB-C input on the back, and then you have a single indicator light on the front, so you have an idea of about how much battery life is left on the case itself. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds, like I said, these are a little bit bigger. I would say that they're about the same size as the One More Stylish, and also about the same size as the Sonys. And again, I'm wondering if it's because the technology, one, of having dual drivers in here, but also having noise canceling and all of the other features that it has to have a little bit more bulk to them to be able to house all those electronics. But I will take that any day to be able to have all of those features. Now, one thing I really like about these are the controls. And you have two different types of controls. You have the touch controls and you also have button controls. Now the touch controls on the outside of these are controlling the different levels of noise canceling, because you have 2 different levels of noise canceling. You can turn it off, and then you have your transparency mode to be able to turn on, where the microphones will then bring in all of your outside noise so that you can hear your surroundings. Now I do want to point out that when you turn on the noise canceling, as soon as you do that, it does warm up the sound a little bit, and it does add a little bit more bass. So although I don't know if that was intended or not, but whenever you turn noise canceling on any headphones, it always affects the sound. Now, speaking of the noise canceling, because that's where a lot of people are going to be curious, these are on par with the noise canceling that the Sonys have. So to be able to pick these up for $160 and then have them compete with the Sonys that come in at $230 is extremely nice, because in this price range, you're paying a lot for the noise canceling technology, and these are some of the best. Now, for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. And then on top of that, using these for phone calls, you're going to be extremely happy, because these use the CVC 8.0 technology, which is doing its best to block out the surroundings and focus in on your voice. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. Alright guys, so here is a mic test using the One More True Wireless ANC. As you can tell, it's doing an extremely good job of picking up my vocals. It even picks up my bass tones very well. So this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. Alright, and so here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played in the background, so you get an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound, because I've always said it's nice if a pair of earbuds can offer all of these features, but it doesn't mean anything if the earbuds don't actually sound good. Luckily, that's not a problem here, because this is one of the best, if not the best sounding true wireless earbud that I've heard, especially if you're somebody that likes bass, because this has very punchy bass, very impactful bass, especially if you have the noise canceling turned on. It definitely adds more boost in the low end, but luckily that doesn't affect your mids or your highs. Mids are done extremely well here, and having the balanced armature driver to be able to handle your mids and highs, you can definitely tell is making a difference, because it really does separate the vocalist from the instruments or from the punch of the bass going on in the background. You feel that separation, and you kind of need to. You don't want, especially if you listen to music genres where there's a lot going on, you don't want the vocalist to kind of get lost in everything. And that happens with a lot of pair of earbuds, because they don't have the drivers to separate, or they just don't focus in on keeping that separation. But it's done extremely well here, and it worked great with metal, it worked great with hip hop, with pop, folk, like easy listening. Pretty much any genre you listen to, these play very well with all of those. Now, the one thing I really wish, now this could just be a minor complaint, is that the noise canceling didn't alter the sound, because my favorite was having the noise canceling turned off. I felt like it was the most balanced sounding overall. I felt like I got the most clarity out of having the noise canceling turned off, even though having the noise canceling turned on didn't eliminate the clarity, but it did boost that bass a little bit, which then felt like the treble wasn't as extremely well balanced as it is when it was turned off. Again, that just kind of depends on the situation. I don't think a lot of people listen with noise canceling turned on all the time. I personally don't. I just kind of use it for whatever situation I'm in. And these just sounded great on any level, but I personally just preferred the noise canceling turned off. Now, as far as the sound stage and sound imaging, I would say that these sound more like you're in a larger room, so it's doing a very good job considering that these are earbuds to give you that kind of distance, but it is also nice the way that it picks up the details in instruments. Now, I would have liked to have had them sound a little bit further away, but I had no issues with telling where instruments were coming from or where vocalists were coming from, and so it was extremely nice with music, and it was really great with movies as well. So as much as it sounds that I'm praising these, and honestly it should, because this has become the pair that I've used, and it has become the pair that has replaced me going to my Sonys all the time, there are some cons and some things that I would have liked to have seen done differently. One of those things is I would have liked to have seen an IP rating. It's just kind of peace of mind if you're somebody that's going to use these outdoors that you don't have to worry about. And then on top of that, I would have liked to have seen them slim down the earbuds just a little bit. Again, I don't know how possible that is because of the technology that's being crammed into these, but I know a lot of people don't want the larger earbuds. Now, the only other con that I have with these is because I like the sound so much with the noise canceling turned off, I wish that it could have stayed like that even with turning the noise canceling on. Now, one thing I do want to point out is it's not required to use the app with these to get the most out of them. There are a few things that you can change here and there and tweak here and there, but the huge thing is getting updates, because when the One More Stylish came out, there were a few things that it didn't have that having an app later added some features to the One More Stylish that fixed some of the issues that I had as far as controls go, and different things. So it's nice to actually have that ability. So again, these are not required that you have the app to be able to get the most out of these, but just for updates, because there's already updates that are tweaking the battery so that you can get more battery life out of these. I would say that you'd probably do want to download that just so that you're getting what you pay for. But outside of that, the One More True Wireless ANC has become my new go-to earbuds. I've absolutely loved them for music and for movies. It's just a very dynamic sounding earbud overall, and being able to block out that outside world is a huge plus. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.